Welcome to EPG Pathshala on the subject Social Medicine Community Health. I, Professor C.P. Mishra, working in the Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras University, shall be discussing the module entitled Integrated Disease Surveillance Project, which is the module belonging to the paper National Health Policies and Programs. This module has been developed by a team comprising of myself, Dr. Devendra Kumar Taneja from MAMC New Delhi. This module has been written by me along with Dr. P.K. Kesari of Department of Communication, IMS, BHU, Varanasi, and Dr. J. Tandon, ex-professional head, Department of Communication, IMS, BHU, is the reviewer. The learning objectives that have been set for this session is to identify surveillance and define surveillance and different types of surveillance, to enumerate objectives of IDSP, to list different types of surveillance adopted under IDSP, to mention disease and conditions covered under IDSP, and to list project activity organization structure, to mention achievements and future strategies of IDSP. Surveillance and its types. Surveillance is the continuous scrutiny of all aspects of occurrence and spread of disease that are pertinent to infection control. So, continuous scrutiny of those aspects related to occurrence and spread of disease which are pertinent for its effective control. That surveillance. In fact, surveillance is monitoring plus action. It involves systematic collection of pertinent morbidity and mortality data, the orderly consolidation of these data, special field investigations, and rapid surveillance. Surveillance can be of four types: active surveillance, in which a deliberate attempt is made from, say for example, in case of malaria, from house to house survey for identifying disease condition. Passive surveillance. This is in this type of surveillance, suspects cases do come to the static organization centers like primary centers, search centers, district hospital, and so on. And third is sentinel surveillance. In this type of surveillance, some institutions which are willing to report regularly, which have ability to diagnose disease correctly, and which have dedicated to collect certain additional information. They are labeled as sentinel surveillance. And last but not least is community-based surveillance, in which certain key informants are identified from the community, and they inform about the occurrence of a particular condition in a particular community. IDSP stands for Integrated Disease Surveillance Project. This project was initiated during 1998, incorporating various international health agencies such as WHO, CDCS, NIH, USAID, DFID, and others. Integrated Disease Surveillance Project is a decentralized state-based surveillance program in the country. Major objectives of the program is to establish a decentralized district-based system of surveillance for communicable and non-communicable diseases, so that timely and effective public health actions can be initiated in response to health challenges in the country in urban and rural areas both. So basically it is a decentralized district-based system of surveillance. It takes into cognizance both communicable and non-communicable diseases for timely and effective public health actions in response to health challenges in the country both in urban and rural setups. Integration of surveillance activities of various health control programs and stakeholders, so that valid data are available for decision making at district level, state level, and national level. Isolated disease surveillances were carried out initially, but it is later realized that there should be integration of surveillance activities of various health control programs with stakeholders, so that valid data are available for decision-making at the state and national levels. Specific objectives of this program are: number one, to integrate all existing surveillance activities of the National Disease Control Mitigation Programs at district level. The IDSP integrates both public and private sectors and integrates communicable and non-communicable disease programs. So there should be integration of both public and private sector, integration of both communicable and non-communicable diseases. Integration of both rural urban health systems with medical colleges. So all the different levels of health systems should be involved, integrated. This study system of data collection, collation, compilation, analysis, and feedback by using information technology. So data editing is an important component. Feedback is an important component of this IDSP. To improve laboratory support for disease surveillance. Certainly, the identification of cases on the basis of suspicion and on the basis of probable diagnosis or clinical impressions must be backed up by laboratory support for disease surveillance. To develop human resources for disease surveillance and action, that is, a rapid response team must be constituted so that they can undertake disease surveillance activities and also necessary actions that are required within as early as possible. To involve all stakeholders, including private sector and community surveillance activities. Types of surveillance that are being undertaken under IDSP are syndromic surveillance, that is based on subgroup clinical impressions, a group of clinical impressions. Then clinical surveillance, that is based on physical observations, and third is laboratory surveillance. So depending on the facilities, at the peripheral level, at the IDSP level, one can combine, medical officer can combine both the approaches, syndromic as well as clinical surveillance. Whereas when laboratory backup is there, laboratory surveillance is also incorporated in the system. Number one, syndromic surveillance. Health workers in the field will do the surveillance on the basis of syndrome which they can identify. So a group of symptoms and signs will be under this, and based on that, health workers in the field will be able to identify a particular condition. Clinical surveillance, this will be carried out by medical officers, and based on their clinical skills, they will diagnose the case clinically and report to the specific institution. Third is laboratory surveillance. This is based on the laboratory diagnosis, which is more confirmed about the disease pathology or etiology. For all practical purposes, the diagnoses are not required for an epidemic response. Many times, for epidemic response, we don't wait for laboratory findings, and we work on the basis of clinical surveillance as well as syndromic surveillance. The diseases to be included in the surveillance program are based on following criteria: burden of disease in the community. Burden includes both incidence, prevalence, as well as its consequences. So, burden of disease in the community, ability of public health response, and special consideration of international commitments. So, these are three important criteria on the basis of which you decide that this disease will be included under IDSP. Now, regular surveillance, basically surveillance for certain diseases, there is a regular surveillance, and these diseases are vector-borne diseases. We are doing for malaria, waterborne disease, include adult disease, cholera and typhoid, respiratory disease, tuberculosis, vaccine preventable diseases, measles, disease under eradication, although polio is very indicated, but polio surveillance, and other conditions like road traffic accidents. Now, under this regular surveillance also comes unusual clinical syndrome like meningoencephalitis, respiratory distress, allergic fevers, jaundice, and other undiagnosed conditions. Other international commitments are like plague and yellow fever that are put on international surveillance. They are put on surveillance because of international commitments. Then, sentinel surveillance we are carrying out for sexually transmitted diseases HIV, HBV, HCV, diseases, blood disease, other conditions like then water quality and outdoor air quality, particularly large urban areas. Regular periodic surveys for non-communicable risk factors that is being done for encephalopathy, physical activity, blood pressure, tobacco, nutrition, blindness, and any other unusual health conditions. So, WHO has also advocated at-risk approach and step approach. Depending on the facility, we can go for behavioral surveillance, we can go for encephalopathic measurements, and depending on the lab backup, we can go for the bites and other conditions. In the IDSP program, the project envisages various activities. The number one activity is decentralizing and integrating surveillance mechanisms. So, by the term decentralizing, we mean that the information will flow from the periphery, from the village level, and by integrated surveillance we mean in an integrated manner. It means not only one disease condition but many disease conditions will be reported together. So, one of the most important project activity has been under IDSP, decentralizing and integrating surveillance mechanisms. Second is upgradation of laboratory. It was realized that syndromic clinical surveillance has their own limitations, and for confirmation of the disease condition, upgradation of laboratories is a must. Then use of information technology and communication, because once we use this information technology, then the data flow systems will be more, there will be more transparency in the data system, and reporting will be also fast. And anytime the data can be monitored on a continuous basis. The third important activity has been human resources and development. Each category of resource, say for example, epidemiologists working at the district level, identifying the teams of rapid response teams and creating a human resource for reporting from the community, from the village, on the basis of suspicion index, on the basis of probable depletions, and then confirmation of these cases by medical officers, and if the laboratory services are available in particular area, then laboratory data. So all categories of staff have been trained to undertake their particular activity, and that has contributed to more skilled diagnosis, more perfect diagnosis, or more perfect labeling of particular condition. Operational activities and response. So once a particular disease outbreak takes place, then operational activities in that particular area, rapid and including response becomes very important to this activity. And lastly but not, monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring is on a continuous basis, that is done by system. Evaluation there can be independent evaluations, and evaluation is a term that refers to degree of achievement against predetermined objectives. The organization structure is a very vital component of any project or any program, and IDSP has at central level the chairman of the National Surveillance Committee, the Secretary Health. So at the national level we have the National Surveillance Committee. This committee is chaired by Secretary Health with members from various departments, such as Director General of ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, Joint Secretary Health, Joint Secretary Family Welfare, Joint Secretary from other associations, director NICD, director NIB, and representatives of Ministry of Home, National Surveillance Officer, representative Ministry of Environment, consultants India, trained WHO, medical colleges and others, non-governmental organizations, IMA representative, national program managers like polio, malaria, TB, HIV, and AIDS, and Director General Health Services, co-chair and co-chair. Functions of National Health Surveillance Unit. This National Health Surveillance Unit serves as the apex body of IDSP, and it is responsible for the execution of a approved annual plan of action for IDSP. So this National Surveillance Unit at the central level is mainly responsible for execution of a approved annual plan of action for IDSP, monitors progress of implementation of the project, that whether the project is going in the appropriate direction or not in terms of implementation, and then obtain physical reports and expenditure statements from states on a continuous basis, and those who are defaulters, from their extra mechanisms are involved. Then seek reimbursement from the World Bank through Controller of Accounts, report regularly to the National Disease Surveillance Committee about what is happening in the country. Then production and dissemination of prototype, guidelines, manuals and modules from time to time. So they provide technical inputs so that program can run in an optimal fashion. Implement central level activities, procurement of goods, training, information, education, communication material, and also analysis of data from state and provide feedback on trends observed. So feedback is also an important component for the information obtained from the periphery. Coordinate with NICD, ICMR and other organizations for improvement of the program. Organize surveys on non-communicable diseases and risk factors from time to time because NCDs are emerging as a potential threat. Conduct periodic review meetings with the state surveillance officers to give feedback and to identify further areas of action. Organize independent evaluation of various activities. At the state level, similarly at the central level, as a state level, we have Chairman of the State Surveillance Committee, the Secretary of Health. He is supported by Joint Director State Surveillance Officer. There are 2 consultants for technical training and finance and procurement. Other data managers, 2 data entry operators, 1 office assistant and class 4 employee. The functions of State Surveillance Unit are collation and analysis of data received from district and transmitted to Central Surveillance Unit. So one of the important functions of State Surveillance Unit is to collect data, to collect and collate data, analyze data received from various districts, and then transmit it to the Central Surveillance Unit. Coordinating activities of rapid response teams and deputing them to the field. Monitoring and reviewing the activities of district surveillance units, including check on validity of data, responsiveness and functioning of laboratories. So laboratory quality assurance and validity validation of data, these are important functions of state surveillance unit. Coordinating the activities of the state public health laboratories, medical colleges and other state level institutions. At district level, we have District Surveillance Committee, which is chaired by District Collector or District Magistrate, Deputy Chief Medical Officer acting as a DSO, District Surveillance Officer. This State Surveillance Unit is the basic unit that is responsible for occurrence of all events in their jurisdiction. There are other important functions like collation and analysis of data received from district and transmitting to the other units, upward units, coordinating the activities of response, rapid response teams and reporting them to the field, monitoring and revisiting the active district surveillance units, including check on validity of data, responsiveness and functioning of laboratories. Coordinating the activities of state public health laboratories, medical colleges and other state level institutions. At district level, it is the chief medical officer, collection of analysis, data received from all reporting units and translating, considering rapid response teams and deploying them to the field level, implementation and monitoring of all project activities. Coordinated activities of public health laboratories, medical colleges, NGOs and private sectors, sending regular feedback to the reporting units on the analysis of data, organizing training and ISCC activities within the district. Organizing meetings with the district surveillance committee. Achievement and future strategies coming to the last part of the IDSP. The IDSP Central Surveillance Unit is established and integrated in the National Center for Disease Control. So one of the significant achievements is that there is a Central Surveillance Unit which is indicated in the National Center for Disease Control, which was earlier called NICT. Training of trainers of all the 35 states, union territories, district surveillance teams have been completed. So training of trainers have been completed in all 35 states and training. For outbreak discussion, data entry training, video conferencing of 776 sites at all state, district headquarters and union institutions in the country have been established. About 90% of the districts in the country report weekly surveillance data through portals which have been developed under IDSP for data entry, for analysis, for report outbreaks, to download reports and other materials related to disease surveillance. On an average, 30 outbreaks are reported every week by the states to Central Surveillance Unit. A total of 553 outbreaks were reported in 2008, 799 outbreaks in 2009, 990 outbreaks in 2010, 1,675 outbreaks in 2011, 1,584 outbreaks in 2012, in 2013, 1960 outbreaks have been reported. So this IDSP has been able to generate information regarding to these outbreaks. The weekly outbreak report generated by Central Surveillance is shared with all the key stakeholders, including Prime Minister's office. A total of 2,562 media alerts were reported from July 2008 to 31st December 2013 about disease outbreaks, particularly major diseases like dengue and other diseases. And majority of alerts were related to viral diseases and vector-borne diseases. A 24/7 call center was established in February 2008 to receive disease alerts all across the country on a toll-free telephone number 1075. The information received is provided to the state district surveillance units through email and telephone for investigation and response. A total of 2,560 media alerts were reported from July 2035. Majority of the alerts were 24 hours circumstances have been done. The referral lab network has been established in 9 states: Gujarat, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and West Bengal. So reference lab is there, and where samples can be sent for confirmation. Using the existing functional labs in the medical colleges and other major centers in the state and linking it with adjoining districts for providing diagnostic services for epidemic-prone diseases during outbreaks. Additional 23 identified medical colleges and labs in Bihar, Assam, Odisha, Tripura, Kerala, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir and Manipur were included in the laboratory network in 2013 and 14. Just to summarize, at conceptual stage, IDSP is very strong. In fact, in the public health practice, there are 3 stages: conceptual level, operational level, and practice level. So, if we look at IDSP, which was initiated in 2005, at conceptual level, it was very sound. However, there are several operational implementation issues in the program, and there has been many lacunae at the implementation level. But one thing is there, that it has brought out an integrated approach for reporting of various conditions. Laboratory services are the backbone of this program. Simply reporting cases on the basis of syndromic approach or on the basis of probable clinical diagnosis is not enough. Laboratory service backup is important to identify diseases accurately, and there has been a scaling up of the lab services. Their expansion or addition are needed to optimize IDSP further. Greater involvement of private sector and semi-government institutions is desired in the program, because most of the cases nowadays are also being treated by people who are in the private sector and semi-government institutions and NGOs. Because without their involvement, there can't be completeness in the reporting system. Implementing coverage, consistency, completeness, and timeliness in reporting system are key to IDSP. Coverage means all the diseases that are included, all the areas are included, and there is no duplication. There is consistency in the reporting system. In fact, one cases may go to many places, and therefore the issue of line listing do come. Certain units may stop reporting, and therefore the cases might be less. So completeness in terms of reporting and also timeliness in reporting system has to be taken into account if an IDSP. Just to say once again, IDSP has been an important component, because in any program, if the person doesn't know what is happening in terms of disease occurrence, because many activities are being undertaken, but ultimate purpose of any endeavor is to stop the occurrence of cases. Say, for example, we are running a immunization program, there may be 100% immunization, but if the quality of services are poor, then there will be occurrence of cases. So IDSP clearly tells us that where we stand in terms of program outcomes. If diseases are continue to occur in a particular area at a particular phase, it clearly implies that whatever either the strategies are not foolproof, or whatever interventions we are doing, they are not being taken care of in a proper manner, and therefore they are likely to be